Hands on the steering device. Show me a left turn. Push on the left. There we go. The other left.
Hey! A special thank you to JHS Racing, RNG Racing and Austin Racing, co-sponsors of this track day racing series as part of the Good, the Mad and the Bubbly show for Which Bike.
What's your name?
Deimante.
Deimante. I'm going to give Deimante the microphone. She's now going to sell it to you because that was just the perfect sales technique. She's just said she learned more in the day than 3 years of riding the bike with us. Right, let's do the full demo. Hands on the steering device. Show me a left turn. Push on the left. There we go. The other left.
Hey!
It's alright. She has no sensation of speed, so she's thinking.
I got distracted.
Yeah, it's difficult, especially when all these ugly lot are looking at you. Turn right. Look that way. There we go. Okay. Look at this cone. Turn left. Yeah, you're working hard. Okay. Bring it. You still got your chicken wings?
Yeah.
Bring your chin this side a little bit. That's it, perfect. There we go. Spine's more in line with the direction of travel. Better. Yeah, turn right. Turn left. Just thinking. Let's bring you upright. Okay, let's give you a little bit of science. Guys, if you want to get closer, get closer. Sit back in your chair and relax. Let's give you a little bit of science. How does a bike actually turn? Why is it, if I'm pushing right, causing the front wheel to go that way, why does the bike go that way? So let's give you the science. Did they teach you this on your level? Yeah. You're going to be bored now. I do apologise. Okay, so you got the shape of the tyre involved as well, so the tyres are round. If I want to turn right, I do this. The bike will get to my desired lean angle. I then take the steering off. The bike will hold that lean angle until I do something else to the steering. So it looks like this.
Coming up to a right hand bend, input, the bike will lean, neutral steering, I go back to neutral, this is flat, my arms are flat. I go round the bend, round the bend, round the bend. When I want to come out the bend, input, the bike will come up, take it off.
Think about it. If you're going in a straight line, it's neutral steering, the bike will stay in that position. If you're going around a bend, it has to be neutral steering once you've got to your desired lean angle. So you get there and you take it off, it's nice and loose. I can see a couple of people going, huh? It does work, trust me. If you were to hold the steering input on, you would slam the bike into the ground. So if you stayed in this position, you'd just slam it into the ground. When you come out of a bend, you do this. So you go into the bend.
Lean angle, neutral steering. When you come out the bend, you put the opposite on, the bike will come up.
So once you're at your lean angle and you're going around that corner, it has to be neutral steering. There's no other way about it, it's simple physics. But let's give you more science. Okay, gyroscope. It's a big gyroscope on the front, it's a big gyroscope on the back. The one on the back is 20% bigger than the one on the front. So when I turn right, the front does this, but the back is fixed in a swing arm.
So the front wheel turns this way, but this is fixed in the swing arm, you can't move.
Has anyone ever done the bucket of water thing? Spun a bucket of water and the water doesn't come out? You lot down here around London, you do not live. In Birmingham, we're all there for hours spinning buckets of water. What is wrong with you lot? So we spin this bucket of water, the water stays in the bucket. Centrifugal force, gyroscopic force. But look, think of your rims, the steel rims on your bike or the aluminium rims on your bike. They have the same amount of weight all the way around, so when they spin, they produce a massive amount of force. Massive amount of force. So, I turn right.
My front wheel goes that way. This one now wants to get back in line, and it produces so much force that it can force you and the bike over, coupled with the shape of the tyre, will cause the bike to get back into line. So the wheels are now in line, but we're going around the corner because I've made the bike lean. So turn, back in line, it will hold that turn now.
What actually happens is, because of the shape of the tyre, the contact patch on the front wheel and the contact patch of the back wheel shortens slightly and it hooks round. It's no different. It's the same sort of principle to me walking past here and getting hooked round. The tighter you get those contact patches, the quicker it hooks round. Who sat on the spinny chair, spun themselves around and put their legs out and you go round really slow? And then when you bring your legs in, you go round really fast. If I have a straight arm, long distance between contact patch and contact patch, you go round really slow. If I have a short distance, you go round really fast. Same principle. Does that make sense? Happy? All these lot look really confused, but as long as you're understanding it, I'm happy with that. So that's how a bike steers: centrifugals, gyroscopics, contact patches, hooks round. A lot of information there, but that's a scientific principle. This is what we teach. Should we have a bit more fun? Grab hold of the steering device. I've got to be careful what I say now, because you've done level 1. Just show me what you would do to bring the bike to a stop from a serious amount of speed. Look out there. Yeah, show me with your body what you would do to bring the bike to a stop from, say, 100 mile an hour. Squeeze the front brake, the bike will lift up.
She's never been that fast.
Yeah, if she's done level 1, she has. Hold the brake, don't release. Hold it on. Oh, relax. Okay, one thing that I'm really happy with, this hand is working and there's no tension in the knuckles. This hand isn't working, still no tension in the knuckles, so she's nice and relaxed. If I was to squeeze your forearms, these would be nice and relaxed. When you hold on to the front, can you see how that muscle contracts? That's called arm pump. And if you sit on your bike for 30 minutes in stress, all you're going to do is squeeze all the blood out of that muscle and you're going to get arm pump. But she's nice and relaxed. She's holding on to the tank a little bit. She's a little bit too tight to the tank for my liking, but that's up to you, that's your personal preference. So I know that she's holding on to the tank. If I was to say to you, take your left hand off the bar, you could take your left hand off the bar. Can you take your right hand off the bar? Okay, so how is she holding on to the motorbike?
The force.
She's using her knees. No, but she's holding on to the tank. I can see that she's holding on to the tank. She's actually gripping on. I want to change it slightly. I want to change your technique slightly on how you grip. But this is actually very nice. Question number 1, can she load the front if she's holding on like this? No, she's not even holding on to the front, so how can you load the front? The centre of mass is really low because she's holding on to the tank. I'm going to release the brake now, the bike's going to drop down. Are you happy for me to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, because she's not holding on to the front, she can't load the front. Because she's not even touching this, her weight transfer has to go into the frame. She's squeezing onto the frame. It has to come straight down. If you're holding onto the front, if you're scaffolding onto the front, if you've got these 2 bars, if you're rigid on the front, you're scaffolding, you'll have to transfer into this seesaw. And all it is a seesaw with a pivot. So because you're loading the frame, her weight transfer is directly into the frame. If you load the front, your centre of mass is high. The problem with a high centre of mass, it causes instability. You lot don't know, stand a long way away. All them people behind you are really struggling to get past. It's really funny because they're all stood over there getting what's going on.
High centre of mass, road surface with a high centre of mass. And all I'm going to demonstrate is 30 degrees of travel and 30 degrees of lean. 30 degrees of lean with a high centre of mass, that can move quite far. And the poet in me wants to say it moves quite fast, but it can be unpredictable. But if I can lower that centre of mass, saying 30 degrees of travel, that promotes stability. Your bike can't move them really at all. It's quite predictable because it's only moving a small amount.
So we're always going to look at lowering that centre of mass. Now if you're holding on to the front, your weight transfer is up, your centre of mass is high. If you're really light on the bars and you're holding on to the frame, your centre of mass disappears into the tank. Makes the bike feel predictable, makes the bike feel stable. You squeeze the tank this way. I want you to squeeze the tank that way. I want you to get that knee and I want you to fire this muscle. I don't want you to use this muscle because if we get cramp here it's painful. But this is a very powerful muscle and you can wedge in. I would change your pegs so you could get into that shoulder. There you go, perfect. Now, I want your arms to stay on there. I want you to go from here and I want you to relax. No, you went outwards, I want you to come inwards. So just relax. That's it, relaxed. The reason why I want her arms to relax, so this is quite stiff. If you go quite stiff for me, go quite stiff, do this. Look at her wrist position. That wrist is fully cocked. How do you apply throttle if you can't bend the wrist? When you relax your elbows, look at that wrist position. It goes from there to there, and I'll do it. Goes from there to there. I can now apply throttle when I want to apply throttle without having to readjust. So that's a nicer wrist position. This is nice and relaxed. if you look at the steering, it moves that way and that way in this plane of motion. If you're up here, you're at 90 degrees to the plane of motion. If you're down here, you're working with the steering. This will make your steering more efficient. It's easier. This, you have to contract your anterior deltoid to steer. That's a big muscle. If you're down here, you're using your abs to steer. It's a more controlled muscle. It's a more finer movement. The example, when you write a letter, you don't use your bicep. You use very small muscles. When you're steering a motorbike, fine controlled movements. Not this big muscle up here. It's not as controlled. Does that make sense? If you're down here, you'll feel what the bike is saying to you as well. The bike will talk to you. So when you're going around a right hand bend, remember that I said earlier, once you get to your lean angle, you're neutral on the steering. So you get the bike over, you take the pressure off the bars, it's nice and neutral.
So right hand bend, in, over, off. Going around your right hand bend, steering's neutral, very light, I can hold on to it with fingertips. If I'm going around a right hand bend and the steering starts to tuck inwards,
what is the bike saying to me if I'm going around a right hand bend, I'm neutral on the steering and the steering starts to tuck? What is the bike saying to me? What's happening? Front's tucking, yeah. So what is the bike saying to me if the front's beginning to tuck inwards? Am I losing traction on the front tyre? Yes, that's what it means. I know you know what you mean, you just didn't give me the right words. But the way that you demonstrated it was exactly how I demonstrated it, so I knew you knew what you meant. So if I'm going around a right hand bend and the front starts to tuck inwards, the front tyre is skipping along. I'm losing traction, problem. If I'm going around a right hand bend and the steering starts to tuck outwards, that's not even possible. If the steering starts to turn outwards, and I'll do the hip movement just so you can kind of guess what I'm trying to get at. I'm losing traction on the rear tyre. Give that man an award. Cheers, buddy. So, the bike will talk to you. If you're up here, you don't really feel it because when you're up here, you're tense. I have never seen anybody be in this position and relaxed. But I have seen people in this position and relaxed. So when this steering starts to move, it's like being punched. If you're upright, you don't really feel it because you're tense. If you're down and relaxed, you'll feel every single little twitch. Does that make sense? So, by locking onto the frame, by relaxing your arms, you'll feel everything. You've got greater control of your steering. You can't load the front like scaffolding bars, so you take the pressure off the suspension, and your bike will have greater stability because your centre of mass disappears into the bike. Now let's just analyse what I've talked about for the last 10 minutes. All I've talked about is holding onto your bike and how to steer it. How many of you guys, when you passed your test, were taught how to hold onto your bike and how to steer it? I passed my test 97, 4 years before somebody said to me, counter steering. I've been riding my bike for 4 years. My instructor did not teach me about counter steering. He didn't teach me how to hold onto a motorbike. If you've noticed, I've called this a steering device all the way through the demonstration. I haven't called it a handlebar. Handlebars make you hold on. It's not how I want you to hold onto your motorbike. And I shouldn't say how I want you. It's not the prescribed method on how to hold onto your motorbike. And this is, I'm going to do my soapbox thing now, so this is nothing to do with California Superbike School. This is my opinion. Our test system is inherently wrong because we don't have to be taught how to hold onto a motorbike, and we don't have to be taught how to steer it. You're taught, what does that white light mean? What does that triangle symbol mean? What will happen? What is the priority when you get to an island? Yeah, great, you need to know that. But don't we need to know how to hold onto our motorbike and how to steer it as well? Yes, you're the best salesperson here, you're better than I am. It is the basics. Basic stuff, and you're not taught it. This is going to sound condescending, and I'm not going to apologise it. We will teach you how to ride your motorbike properly, but we teach you using scientific principles. If we're asking you to do something, we'll tell you why we want you to do it, and we'll break down the science for you. The way that it works, you're not going to like this, is boring now. While I talk to these, play with the bike, play with your body position. Go left and right, go up and down. The way that a day with us works... Alright Mum, you've been stood there for about 10 minutes. So, the way that a day with us works, we ask you to sign on by 7 o'clock in the morning. 7 o'clock in the morning, come and sign on with us, safety briefing at 8 o'clock. Your safety briefing at 8 o'clock, and then the first group will go into the classroom and I'll sit with Gary for 20 minutes talking about the technique that we want you to develop. Relax, relax, relax. You go into the classroom for 20 minutes and we talk about the technique that we want you to develop. You then get on your bike and you go off onto the track and you practice that technique on your own. We don't do 1, 2, 3, sheepdog, you're at the front, your turn, let's have a look at you. We don't do that. You get on your bike, you go off onto the track. While you're on the track, your coach will come and find you on track. And what he usually does is this. He comes blatting past you and he'll go, you, follow me. He'll then show you the technique that we've just been talking about in the classroom using hand signals. So on level 1, your first session is called throttle control. And we take you out on track and we show you where we are applying throttle and how hard we're applying throttle.